All right, everyone. Welcome to March live at lunchtime volunteer training. This particular training, last month, Zach, our director of outreach, he did this um, as a live meeting. And unfortunately, we didn't have too many people available to attend those meetings, but it was such a great presentation that I wanted to be able to share that with you guys, have it available to you at all times so you guys can always review it. And of course, after we get done today, after it's posted and completed on Facebook, I'll go ahead and upload that to the volunteer resource section on the HSMBA YouTube account. So you guys will have access to this at any given time forever. And hopefully, I can actually present this as good as Zach did. I'm definitely going to try because this was really great in showing the best possible ways to capture photos of the pets that get them adopted much sooner. And at the end, I do want to tell you guys a little about an experience that happened about 2 weeks ago at the shelter, but I'll save that for the end. So, getting started, this is, just helping you guys get a little insight on the best ways to market them when it comes to photos, the best way to capture them so that there's when they're seen, whether it's online or at the shelter. Like, we really want to make sure that when people are looking at the website, they're seeing the pet for its unique personality. Um, when they come into the shelter, depending on the personality of the pet, they might be acting a little crazy in the kennel, which is absolutely expected in many cases, especially with high energy dogs. But if we can get some good pictures and get them marketed right, it'll really help prevent long stays. So, why do photos matter? So, in these modern times, a lot of our adopters are looking at these guys on the website, keeping an eye on which dogs become available. They're interested in adopting, but they're kind of holding out for the one that kind of speaks to them. So when they see those photos online, it's their first impression of the pet, whether they've met them or not. They see that photo, and that is going to be indicating how interested they are in that particular pet, whether they scroll on or whether they stop to read the biography and learn more about that pet. So we want to have really good photos. Now, in addition to that, the photos that you guys take when you send them in, they are going to be, if you're emailing them to me or another staff member, those are going to be uploaded into their profile. Once they're uploaded into the profile, the website is going to automatically add those on at midnight. That's when it refreshes. So if you don't see them the same day you sent them, that's why. Also, with the pet personality reports, yes, your photos are going directly to the pet's profile, but a staff member does have to go in and click on them, just accepting them to be published to the website. So, again, if you don't see the photo right away, it either needs to refresh at midnight or staff hasn't gone into there to approve the photos yet. But they get done daily, so don't worry too much about speed as far as that goes. So, in addition to the website photos, the profile, um, we are going to go into their profile anytime we're looking for photos to either post them on social media. It could be photos for a newspaper if they're being featured as Pet of the Month. Any kind of marketing we're doing for a particular pet, long stay pet, pet that needs heartworm treatment, whatever the case is. So the better the photos, the faster they get adopted. When they're used on social media, it increases the amount of clicks on the post, gets them seen, gets them shared. People are sharing to different groups, sharing with their friends, family, and overall, it is going to decrease their length of stay. Pictures are everything when it comes to these pets. So we really want to be focusing on capturing the personality, whether it's silly, playful, cuddly, whatever it is, capture that personality because it's going to say everything about the pet. So, some of the ways that you can increase the impact of the photos. Okay, so when you're taking these dogs outside, getting photos of them, in the play yards if they like to play, taking them out for a doggy day out, getting photos of them out in public, at the park, at the river, if they're a water dog, and they're playing in the river or somewhere wherever you take them, get photos of that. It definitely captures their likes. Also on pack walks, you guys can take photos of them there. That's a great one. Seeing them walk nicely on the leash, especially around other dogs. We want natural behaviors, relaxed body image. We don't want them to look stressed or things like that because most of the time once they get out of the kennel, they go to the bathroom, they're usually pretty relaxed after that unless they're super high energy, but most of the time they're much better outside of the kennel. Try to focus on eye contact, interaction with people, or their toys, any kind of enrichment that you're offering them, just so future adopters can kind of imagine what it would be like to have that pet in their family, in their home. So when you're getting the dog ready for photos, definitely let them have some time outside to either run around in the play yard if they're not a fence jumper, go to the bathroom, things like that, just so they have a little bit of time to get some energy out, decompress, go to the bathroom. That way they're a little bit calmer for photos. Most of these guys will look pretty good, but sometimes we have some that are a little drooly, or they might have gunky eyes. Maybe it was upper respiratory infection, or we do have Desi that had, I think it was the left eye, it has an eye infection and it's being treated. But kind of clean them up if you can. We do have pet wipes or we have washcloths if they're really that bad. Um, it's great if you can get pictures of them without a leash on. So, for example, in the play yards, but don't remove the leash if you're concerned about, them being a fence jumper. If they're a fence jumper, don't take that leash off, things like that. Um, Outside of the play yards, don't ever remove the leash. Always needs to stay on when they're out walking. But if you can get as little of the leash as possible, or it's not tangled up or anything, um, that's great. If you want, if you have a dog that's, really treat or toy motivated, those make some really cute photos, especially if it's a stuffed animal that isn't, gross and dirty from the dog, but a clean one that's cute. Can be great for photos. Any kind of toy that they really like. Just be mindful of the condition of the toy because if they've already chewed up half of it, that's not going to look great in the photo. You can use those as well on these motivated ones, toy and treat motivated ones, to get their attention for the photos. So when you're going to take photos, again, the play yards is great if you're capturing a dog that is super playful, maybe agile, things like that. In addition to that, though, we do have the walking trail. Sorry, I had to think about that. The walking trail that goes through the trees, which is a great area too. So, getting them on grass, notice that there's very little background distractions. Yeah, there's a little bit of a bench in the first one, but it's not terribly distracting. And you see their leashes are yes, they're on, but they're not like mangled or twisted up around their legs or anything like that. So it's really not taking too much focus away from the dog. But these are great. They capture the dog in the primary. What do I want to say here? They're filling up the photo space. Okay, you have a little bit of a background, the grass in there, but it's not taking away from the dog. It's focused on them. It's focused on their eyes, and I mean, especially the middle image, you can just see that this dog is super goofy, probably super playful. Um, you can really capture a lot just by focusing on them like this. And then for neutral backgrounds, typically we don't like photos in the kennels just because one, they're usually more stressed out in the kennel than when they're outside. But if you can get one that is more so of the wall in the background rather than, any potty messes or spilled food or anything like that, that's doable. Um, Again, primary thing is just making it so the background isn't horribly distracting from the pet. So these are all neutral ones. Um, I think the one on the right is probably from maybe Morningside Park or somewhere on a doggy day out. And then, of course, this middle one here is going to be from the puppy play area in front of the building. Neutral backgrounds are great. Anything too bright, too busy, if it was hot red, that pet would not be the primary focus when you took a look at it. So neutral is good, grass is good. Now the play yards, I'm sorry, that first photo always gets me. Anyways, the the play yards with the playgrounds in them are great for dog photos, especially the ones that would be great agility dogs, any kind of working breeds, ones that are super playful. They get silly out there and they're pretty funny to watch in there. So these are great captures, especially that first photo. I don't think it gets any better than that. That's a hard sell for me. I mean, I would take that dog home in a heartbeat if I saw that as a profile picture. So, um, capture them in the play yards, in the grass, neutral backgrounds, in the tree area. You can get some really beautiful pictures of them in the trees. Just be mindful of the lighting. So, doggy day outs are great. That first photo is from one of the parks, and it's really beautiful. But again, it just enhances the pet rather than taking away from the pet. Any kind of backgrounds that are super busy, super cluttered are very difficult to focus on the pet because your eyes just start moving around the picture. Um, Obviously, the first one is from an event. The other two are intake photos from when these dogs arrived at the shelter. So those are not ideal. Unfortunately, the two photos on the right, that's what their picture is going to be upon arrival. When they come in, we're more concerned with getting vaccines in them, flea and tick prevention on them, and giving them dewormer. So we don't really have time, as you guys have probably seen in the busyness of the shelter, to go out and give everybody a photo shoot upon intake. We just don't have time, especially if it's a group of pets from, a hoarding seizure or something of that nature, or a litter of 10 puppies. It's just not going to happen. So that's why we really are so grateful for you guys for being able to help us with this, just because it can be extremely overwhelming with the amount of pets coming in. So just, you guys can be as creative as you want to with the photos, but do pay attention to the background because it makes a big difference in the focus on the pet. So as far as lighting goes, the best lighting is natural light, overcast skies, so you don't have super harsh shadows or highlights. Morning or late afternoon, that is known as the golden hour. And that is the absolute best time for photos because it gives everything a nice, soft, even coloring or lighting across the photos. If you're in the tree areas, again, it's a beautiful spot, but do be mindful if it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to have a pretty hard sun coming through there, which can cause really hard shadows across their face. So just make sure that when you're in any areas, the trees, the play yards, anything that could block the sun partially, try to make sure you're getting pictures of the pets where their face isn't all shadow, or halfway shadow, halfway super bright, things like that. And then, oh, did I go? So these are just some examples of some good lighting. You see how the light is balanced across their faces. There's no harsh shadows. I think that's the worst thing with lighting is when partial faces or even the entirety of them is in such a dark shadow that you can't really see them. But you see how nicely that these are all balanced out. And cloudy lighting here, you kind of see there. um, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse when I share this, but you can see the harsh shadows on the left, super bright in the middle of the face on this left one. um, the right side, same thing, harsh shadows. It, you can tell it's super bright day. um, these are all good lighting ones because they're balanced. But the important thing on this slide is just seeing that the photo was taken at eye level with the dog. One thing that Zach mentioned that really struck me when he was presenting this is he was talking about how when we're seeing our personal pets, a lot of times this is going to be the perspective that we're seeing of them. You know, if we're laying in bed, sitting on the couch, um, whatever, our pet is next to us, and when we look over at them, this is the perspective we're seeing. So this kind of helps as well for the potential adopters to kind of create an emotional connection with the pet, because now they can see the perspective of what it would be like if that was their pet as well. So eye level is fantastic. Not every photo should be of you standing over the pet. Get some different angles. Don't be afraid to get down and dirty, because when you come in to volunteer, you should be getting dirty anyways. As soon as these guys jump on you, who knows what's going to get smeared on your pants. So don't be afraid of getting dirty and getting down in the grass and things like that. Here's another set of them that are, that one in the middle is absolutely beautiful, and that's from a foster. Um, but some more really great perspectives of them from more of a at their level. Um, these guys are all super mellow looking, and I can't really remember the names of any of these guys off the top of my head, but so I can't confirm or deny their activity level, but you can see how nicely they're captured. The background isn't super distracting. Even that middle one, the way it's got the nice blurred background is fantastic. On your guys' phone, depending on which one you have, you should be able to switch your camera to portrait mode, and it will blur the background nicely so that only your pet is in focus. And those make for really wonderful photos too. So here's some examples of these guys in full frame. Um, very, very nice. I love the one on the left. The coloring is right, the blurred background. I'm telling you, blurred background for the win. If you guys put your phone also on, what is it called? I think it's where it's live photos. Um, that'll kind of help as well. Or if you do like multiple shots, that'll kind of help you guys get a good shot of these guys, because depending on how busy they are, um, you might have blurred images or them cut off if they move out of frame, things like that. So if you kind of put on your live or your multi-shot, your action shot, it should help you capture some of these good photos with them in the frame without them being all over the place in a blurry mess. Just some tips on framing and composition. Always make sure you're keeping the dog in focus with portrait mode. That's a big one. You want to make sure, even if you're, I don't think anybody comes in with a camera except for our actual photographer volunteers that come in. But make sure your pet's in focus and not something to the side of them, the bench, a tree, a playground equipment. Make sure that they are in focus. Um, Try not to avoid cutting off any part of their head or tail. If you're going to get a full body shot, try to get the full body, including the tail in the shot. Um, if you can't, dog's too close to you, you're not able to zoom out, whatever the case is, then go ahead and bring it in a little bit more so it's more at the abdomen rather than just the tail cut off. Try to avoid a lot of excess empty space. So on your photo, if the dog is only taking up about, you know, a quarter of the picture, go ahead and crop it down, just so it's more focused on the pet. We want as much as of the pet as possible, but you can always go out a little bit more to get some of that background information without making it the primary focus. Um, portrait Portraits are great. Full body shots are great. That way we have a full picture of them. Some people, just by taking a photo of the face, they're not going to see the full body, and a lot of people are going to want to see that to kind of get an idea of their size. And then for adoption promos, when we're doing social media and stuff, horizontal photos, so landscape photos, are going to be the best, rather than portrait mode, just for promotion purposes. But honestly, a combination of portrait or landscape is absolutely fine. Whatever you guys can capture, we will happily add to their profile. When I ask for photos, whether it's for paparazzi, or on the weekly priorities email and post, what I'm looking for is, I might already have 5 great photos sent to me from a volunteer, of the dog, maybe in the trees. However, what I'm then going to ask for is for more photos, just so I can expand their portfolio. So we get a bunch of different alternate locations, different types of shots. Um, no two volunteers are ever going to capture a photo in the same way. So by all of you guys, submitting photos, it gives us an amazing portfolio of so many different aspects of the pet, different perspectives, different cute moments captured, things like that. So if you've submitted pictures to me of a certain pet, or on a pet forum you've submitted some pictures and I'm still asking for pictures, that's why. It's not that your photos are bad. It's just that I want to make sure I have a lot of uh, different photos for that pet, so that when Zach does a post, if they're going to be in the newspaper, something like that, we have a lot of variety to pick from, um, of them doing different things. So when you're capturing the pet's personality, when they're have a relaxed expression or smiling. I don't know if you guys had seen Drooly in the shelter before he got adopted. That dog was always smiling. It's a pity thing. Pit bulls are great with smiling. Any dog that has a very submissive personality, they do the smiling sometimes, and that's hilarious to capture. Any kind of just happy, natural faces, walking nicely on a leash, playing with their favorite toys. Um, Most of these guys know how to sit, so take some treats out there, have them sit for that treat, snap a picture of them before you treat them. Anytime they're interacting with you, sitting on your lap, sitting next to you, those are great photos as well. Training or enrichment moments when they're, figuring out puzzles or something, if you take some stuff out there, um, working on, them on the playground equipment, coming through the tube or going up and down. Um, are they ramps or slides? I think they're just ramps. Any kind of those moments you can capture, just really showing their personality, those are going to be the best for their profile. Smartphone photography tips by Zach. Clean your lens first so there's no fingerprints or dust on the lens. You can tap directly on the pet's eyes to get it to focus on their eyes, so that you don't have any, a blurred out eyes and the nose is sharper and the eyes are out of focus. Burst mode, that's what it's called, where you can take multiple photos at once. That way you can, uh, less chance of blurred images and a greater chance of getting the shot you want. Portrait mode, that's with the blurred background that we talked about. Avoiding heavy filters, you probably won't have to use filters too much. We prefer natural lighting, natural photos. um, just again so that we can put them on the website, social media, things like that. Um, and just double check your photos before you take the dog back, because like I said, some of these guys are more active than others, and you might just have streaks of a dog in all your images, or the face is cut off in half of them because they kept getting out of frame and running off or whatever. So double check before you go to take them back to their kennel, that make sure you got a good one or two. And then things that he really needs for when he's doing marketing for them: a face portrait, a full body shot, an action photo. So whether it's them running, them playing, them, jumping off a bench or the playground equipment in the play yards, calm behavior. So maybe them just sitting nicely next to you, um, or sitting down, looking around, being calm, interacting with you, whether it's taking treats from you, cuddling with you, anything like that. If we can get a wide variety of different behaviors, it really helps us capture them, and it's great for marketing. Quick photo checklist: um, getting them at eye level, taking advantage of the natural lighting, keep the background simple, make sure the eyes are in sharp focus, capture their personality, take multiple photos so we have a wide range, and keep the dog comfortable. Okay. You can email those photos to me, or you can use the QR code. Oh, I guess that just shut it off by itself. Or you can use the QR code, and upload the photos that way. So, in going back to the beginning, when I was kind of talking about um, a recent story in regards to photos, let me see if I can pull it up. So we had a dog recently that had been in the shelter for a little bit of time, um, a couple months at that point. The individuals that came in that were interested in this particular dog had seen him online prior to adopting, and it was probably a month before they came in to see him again. When they came in, or I'm sorry, let me back up. When they saw him online, um, he's a breed of dog that they were very familiar with. They already have one of those breeds. Let me see if I can share this with you guys. Let me see. I don't think it's going to let me switch screens, unfortunately, so I'm going to go ahead and just drop it in the comments. So the dog I am actually referencing here is Jake Paul. Okay, I don't know, most of you probably know Jake Paul. He was super sweet, super cuddly. This thing is just not letting me do anything right now. I'll drop it in the comments after the video. Anyways, um, it was a basic intake picture of him. They saw him. It was okay. They weren't really sold on it. Fast forward about a month. Um, One of their friends had told them about Jake Paul. Being at the shelter, they said, yeah, we seen the profile. uh, We're not sure. They ended up going back onto the website to check the profile again, look at his file again, just to double check, make sure they were sure that that wasn't the right fit, whatever. Well, when they did that, his photos had been updated, and the profile photo he had, which was the current one he had when he was adopted, um, as soon as they seen that photo, they fell in love with him. The next day they came in, they ended up adopting him. They did a meet and greet with him and their dog. They got along great. Perfect match. They're in love with him. They took him home. So that is the power of the picture. And I wonder, and that the only reason I know that particular story is because I was chatting with her because it was busy and I was just trying to keep her company. while the front desk girls finished up a couple of other adoptions that were going on. Um, but I wonder how many others have had that same situation where they've seen a pet online, eh, I don't know, and then it waited a little bit and then decided, let me look again and see updated photos, and it sold them. So it's just that's really the great thing about photos is they can absolutely sell a pet much faster than a poor photo, especially when most people are going online before ever coming in to meet them. So, I don't know if it's my Wi Fi signal or what. It's not allowing me to put these in the comments, but I'll go ahead and do that just as soon as I end this. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I'm going to upload it right now onto YouTube, so it'll be available there too in a few minutes. If you guys have any questions, comments, you can always reach out to me either by email or just by commenting. Facebook only keeps the video up for 2 weeks before it automatically deletes it. That's why I put it on YouTube as well. So definitely reach out if you have any questions and have fun with this. Have fun taking pictures of the pets. Um, Even if you are able to get in and get amazing pets of only one pet, that could sell that pet. So it's better to have great photos of a handful of pets than okay photos for all of them. We have plenty of volunteers, plenty of people that enjoy taking photos. So there's no reason why we can't take our time with this and get them their absolute best photos. It would be great if we got to a point where we were able to do it on that 8th day. As soon as they became a green sticker on Stray Side, we were able to get them those great photos and get them marketed immediately. But we have been backed up with dogs, as you've seen. So we just focus on the adoption ready ones right now, and we'll get to the rest as we can. But you guys have a good rest of your day. If you're going to be in the shelter tomorrow, March 20th, I will see you in there.